Welcome to another video on this channel. Today's topic on GPUs from Hell is 9800 GX2. The story of this card is pretty funny. My friend from Germany picked this up from, well, actually somewhere. In Germany you have those days when people take out old trash from their garages and homes and just put it sort of on the street for you to pick up. And this is where he found it. You can see it's dirty, there's mud all over it, and yet it works, which is pretty amazing. Let me just run a framework here. And as you can see, we get about 17 FPS, which is, well, understandable, since we have 9800 GTX downclocked. And for me, it's actually pretty amazing that this still runs. You can see nice thermal pads here that just turned to concrete. Of course the camera won't focus. And it's currently rocking on my first gen Intel platform, actually brand new in the collection. It's Asus P60 Deluxe, 12 gigs of RAM, and of course i7 920. But I think I'm gonna change this to 960 and overclock it a bit more. As you can see on stock thermal paste, the temperature is pretty dang low as for this dual GPU design. But let's get into repasting. So welcome on the bench in the main part of the video, and I think we're gonna get right into disassembling this GPU. Well, actually, first we can take a look at the differences between this and GTX 295. So, here we have 295. In terms of height, this one is a little bit higher. If you look right there, it's a marginal difference. In terms of power connectors, you can see these ones are made from white plastic that also gives the ability to shine light through, so therefore they shine green when the power is good. Here under this rubber cover you can see I think this is an audio for a HDMI. Let's put this back. On the side of the GPUs you can see there are also two holes, but unlike in GTX 295 there are actually screws in there. From this side nothing's much different. However, if you turn the GPUs that way, you can see that the DVI ports are arranged quite differently. You can see this one is sort of upside down from this one. The HDMI port is also arranged differently, and apart from that I don't see any more difference. Well, of course we have this hole here, and actually this one is designed better, so there's more air coming out of this. On this side you can see this one has this nice raster. This one does not. Well, I actually now wonder if the raster is the right word, but whatever. Let's call it grill. And yeah, this card does not have any backplate. This one does. I think that only one GTX 295 that had backplate was the EVGA Red Edition, but I'm not sure. Also, if you look at this side, you can see GeForce logo here is much bigger, and also we have a grill here. And yeah, that would be pretty much it. So let's get into disassembling this GPU, and right away you'll notice that it's pretty much different. So unlike GTX 295 there are more screws on this side. So let's actually get into unscrewing them. And while removing the last screw you will notice that it's quite a bit longer than the previous ones. Oh, it's still in a thread. There we go. It's a lot longer. So we're gonna flip the card this side up, and here are the two caps that I showed you earlier. They hold screws under them. So Let's take them out. I hope you can see it well. And there we are, you can see the case is starting to fall apart. You would think that you need to take this case off first. Well, you would be mistaken. You actually have to pry this sort of backplate out. Of course, minding these notches. Then flip the card up and take it off. You can see it. And now we come to the pretty hard part. You can see right there is a power connector and there's this sort of bar around it. Well, you have to brute force it pretty much because it does not want to come off any easy. Holy crap, what the hell is this? There we go. Finally out. Okay, we can put it aside. And there's our GPU. You can also see in GTX 295 there were these plastic standoffs. They're also present here. And you can see the reason why that one screw was a little bit longer. It needs to go through this and into that metal. And yeah, really nice mud stains. Yeah, I will have to clean this up. So now what we're gonna take care of is this shield here. So prepare a tool. And here's a nice part. You can see this screw here and another one there, just like in the 295, except that both of these have holes. So we can quite easily get access to them and thus also remove them without too much pain. Well, I think it's good enough. Same from the other side. Jesus, how long is this thread? Remove them without too much pain. Holy f***. There we go. And we got our sandwich. Let's put that aside. And I think what will be the best choice now is to simply take all the screws from each side. So now, with all the screws removed, we can come to a separation part, which won't be easy since we cannot use our tactic of shoving the screwdriver in, because this GPU has no... Oh, okay, it was surprisingly easy, and our standoff fell. I just have to remember where it was. Okay, it was near the fan header, the standoff with the hole for the screw. Here's another one, which I hope also will get out. There we go. And now the second PCB. Okay. And we are good. So let me take this carefully and disconnect this. And what am I gonna do now? Oh, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do one side at a time, so just pop these off. There we go. One PCB is free. And here it is. Heatsink from 9800 GX2. Interesting. Surprisingly, it's not dirty as I thought. So what we are gonna do now is, I think, just clean these two boards off, clean all the thermal residue, and sort of put this back together. You can see for yourself how this looks like, and also you can notice that there are no RAM decks on these boards, so that's quite interesting. Okay, so let's get to work. Also, there is a point here. I really suggest taking a fresh and not wet sticks first to clean off the paste if it's still somehow liquidy, so that way you won't make much mess by spitting alcohol all over the core, and that alcohol will be mixed with or thermal paste. Well, obviously, if the thermal paste turns into concrete, you know you have to use an alcohol, but if it didn't, then you can see how nice job you can get by just using dry sticks. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. I poured some alcohol all over here on these small capacitors because they were all soaked in the thermal paste. And you can see what happened. Now I have to get the brush. And there we go. Sort of clean, although I would like to get this out of here, but you know, it would involve more brushing and more alcohol, and yeah, I don't really have time for that. So now that we have both of our boards sort of clean, we can put them aside. And we're gonna turn our attention to heatsink part. Well, as you can see, it's a little bit less complex than a GTX 295, but still a little bit exotic, as this type of dual GPU solution did not last long. So yeah, I'm gonna proceed to take off the thermal pads and clean this piece off. And same with the core, we can just rub this thermal paste off. If it's not really dry and stuck to the heatsink, we can just sort of scoop this up. And there we go, no alcohol involved. Well, obviously I will have to clean it up with it anyway, but this is a way to do this if you don't want to make much mess. So from what I see, there is one thing that differs this from GTX 295 in this area, and it is that this part is held by more than 3 screws. It seems like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it should be enough. 5 here, and 6 and 7. Wait, what? Okay. So it seems a little bit more complex. Let's take these screws out. Oh. So, well, I unfortunately have to call failure on this. You can see right there, I completely broke this screw and also my tripod. And right there, I did too. Well, I think it's possible to unscrew it still, but with only this bit, I won't be able to do much. Obviously, it's my fault completely, but yeah, since it's not that dirty, I think I'll just get a compressor and dust it off. I think it's much better than it was. And I think we can call this a clean place now. And I think this is gonna be a great time to apply new thermal pads as well as new thermal paste. So now that we have both of our boards completely filled up with thermal pads, I think it's a good idea to wash both of our cores with an alcohol in order to get rid of all the stains, and we are going to be able to apply some new thermal paste. Oh, and also you have to remember to take the peels from your thermal pads, otherwise you can have a really bad day. And this is how these two artworks look together. Really nice. So my camera almost died, but I was able to plug it back in. And I think we're gonna do the same thing that I suggested while putting back 295. So we're gonna find the side that has this groove for our SLI bridge. Once you align it, should be pretty good. There we go. You can see for yourself. Absolutely perfect. Alright, so once we did that, I think we can put it here, press it a little bit for that thermal paste to make a nice contact with the heatsink, and we're gonna screw it in. So what I want to do is to screw on this main GPU part, and now flip this upside down, make sure it's clean, and now take this, and oh, we have to remember about the SLI ribbons, of course. Alright, this is sort of in. I think it's gonna be good. There we go. This should do it. Okay, I think it's good. What about the VRAMs? Yeah, they do make contact, though it could be a little bit better. Let's see if I can move this pad a little bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. So what I did, I just aligned this pad a little bit better. And here we are. Okay, so a bit of a press. And it should be good. So now that I still remember about this, we can put these in as they meant to be. Now this one should go in there. However, I'm not really sure how am I gonna position this. So I'm gonna help myself with this, and there we are. Finally. Sometimes getting these aligned is a huge pain, but usually you can pull it off. Okay. Now it's a good time to put back your IR shield, which is this part, and I think it's so dirty we're gonna clean this up a little bit. There we go, it looks much better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it right there and make sure our LED indicators are passing freely through it. And they do. So now we can take our standard PCI standoffs and screw them in. Now we're gonna put these screws on their place and screw them down. And here it is. Fully cleaned 9800 GX2. Still without a cover, because let me show you what I mean. See how it's all dirty here and also here. So yeah, I'll take it to the bathroom and clean it, but now let's take it on the bench and see if it's working. So now comes the moment of truth. Let's see if this beast boots up. All green LEDs, This motherboard takes a little longer to post, so keep that in mind. And obviously we have overclocked, so... And there we are. Do we have overclocking failure? No, we do not. So let's just wait until it boots up. Now we want normal. And we'll see our temperatures. So, as a Dyatlov would say, not great, not terrible. The core number 2 is hitting really good temperatures, but core number 1 is really not happy. So we are running Formark now, and something that is bothering me is that GPU 1 is hitting really high temperature really fast. So I will probably, after finishing this video, I will open this side of the GPU and apply some more thermal paste or something. I think the core number 1 was actually the one that was so soaked in thermals. So yeah, I suppose that's a design problem, because I never had anything like that in my life with any of the GTX 295s and all that. So yeah, we can call this a partial success. And it seems I was right. This was the GPU that I was cleaning the thermal paste all over from these small little caps or resistors. So yeah, it's gonna get dirty one more time. So we are running over 5 minutes right now, and the temperatures look like this. I mean, in my opinion, it's really good for this type of failure in that construction. Well, I mean engineering failure, of course. And it actually seems like it was a design fault. I've looked under light, and both cores are not really straight to the heatsink, they're sort of shifted that way. So this is why that one is heating up a lot more, since it makes much less contact. And also keep in mind, this is a synthetic benchmark that really lowers your GPU's health, so in a game I really expect this to be lower. So I think it's time to put this GPU back together. Okay, and now it's the part of putting the covers back. So here's the one, and here's number 2. So you can see I tried to clean this. It looks a little bit better than it did before. So now how to put this back together. You have to take the piece that has these signs at the bottom, or just the one that does not have this SLI cover. So we put this as the first one. Similarly as in the GTX 295, you have this groove here that's corresponding on the heatsink, so just push it there. And we face this problem again. We have this connector and this piece of metal. So what I like to do is to take some small screwdriver and push it between, well, I'll actually have to push it between the case and power connector, back, and there we go. It is on its place. And there is one part that I didn't show you at the beginning. We have 2 screw holes at the top. So here's one, here's 2. So you basically put a screw there. I think that will do it. Okay, and now comes the second part with the GeForce logo. We're gonna start at the bottom, or actually no, we have to start at the top because we have this metal piece here. So let's just try to fiddle it in. And we have the same thing right here with this. Put this through here, and there it goes. So now it's Only the matter of screwing all these screws right there. And the last screw, at least on this side, is this longest one. Just put it in there and screw it in. And there are two more. Put the caps on that we previously took off there, and to top it all off, we take this rubber piece and put it on an audio jack. Well, actually it's not jack, it's just connector. And this is how you should take apart and reassemble 9800 GX2. Let's hop on the test bench once again. And so here we are, rocking Crysis at almost the highest settings. Let me show you, well, almost high. So we have X4 anti-aliasing, and only these three are set to medium. All the rest is set to high. And, well, this is the result. As for 2008, I would say this is really butter smooth gaming experience. Whole GPU is looking nice and fresh. So yeah, I would call this a success. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna get back to playing Crysis and see you in the next video.